Welcome to the Whitetail Obsession Podcast with Dave Richmond and co-host Chris Worthing, where we talk and teach everything deer and turkey hunting related. Follow along as we help teach you tips and techniques about hunting, food plots, and habitat management strategies that everyone can use.
Episode 64.
Right. What do you got?
We are going to talk about things that we have going on this time of March on our properties to get ready for spring cleanup and our plotting and things. I've already done some, and you're heading to your spot tomorrow. At time of release, we will already have been done with this, and they can listen.
Correct.
See
That's
what
right.
we did this weekend.
Yep. So today's Friday,
Mm-hmm.
and by the time it releases Sunday, we'll be done. So
Okay.
you did a bunch of stuff. What, this week?
Yeah, this week I went through tractors and four-wheelers and things and checked fluids and
Well,
repair.
let's go through all the details. What did you check, and this and this and this, and this is what everybody else. This is what we're doing right now, but it can be related to what everybody else could be or should be doing on their property.
I didn't do any high maintenance on anything. I just went through everything. I checking fluid levels, and I had some adjustments to make on the four-wheeler. I just was checking the hydraulic fluid in the big tractor. It was low, so I have to get some high trend fluid to dump in that.
What was your biggest motivational factor on what made you do that this week?
Of course, the weather.
The weather.
The weather's getting nice, and
Yep.
not only that, but actually one bigger yet. I mean, it had to do with weather, but it was to rain last night.
Mm-hmm.
It rained today, and the next 4 days is supposed to be frost.
Yeah.
That was my major motivation to get all this stuff ready. So I was pumping up tires. I was checking fluids. I was looking at fuel levels. I just went through everything and hooked up spreader, and I've got the brush hog on the back of the big tractor because I got to go over and chop up the incognito.
Mm-hmm.
I frost seeded yesterday.
Ooh.
If you can call it that. It was 70 some degrees.
Well,
but,
it's frost coming.
Yeah, frost is incoming, and my major thing that I wanted to do at the destination plot was go over to the woods line where all the leaves had fallen all last fall and carpeted all my green mile and flattened it out because I had an OBS planted in there, and I wanted to basically get all that leaf debris off of the plot. So I went over with the mower and loosened it all up with the mower, and then got the leaf blower out, my gasoline leaf blower, and I blew everything off the plot, got it down to basically bare dirt, and I seeded underneath that, all underneath those big oak trees that are hanging out over the plot, because we're still probably a month and a half away, I bet you, from any green up on these trees, especially those big oaks, before they really start greening up. So I'm hoping that I get a good catch of clover underneath them, get that started before the green up. But I did everything yesterday. I did 3 acres out of the 4.
What did you frost seed it with?
It's all comeback kid. I used all comeback.
And you had all the big gulps this year.
Yeah, I got a big gulp, and I just took a scooper and a smaller jug because I didn't want to carry around the whole 5-gallon pail, So I took a scooper and a smaller jug, and I would scoop it into the jug, throw it on the four-wheeler, and I would go down to my shot plot down here in the woods. I had already raked that out 2 weeks ago with a garden rake. Got that all down to basically bare dirt. And
Well, let's
I went,
stop there for anybody that has clover plots or whatever it is in the woods, food plots in the woods. It's good to blow the leaves off to allow sunlight to hit because it's that time of year where things could start greening up, and they
yes,
are a little bit, especially if you have like grains planted. It'll allow sunlight to hit the plot, allow some air flow through there, and it just exposes them
yeah,
plants to the sun.
yeah. I was
So
exposing last year's clover.
right.
There actually wasn't a lot left, to my surprise. Um, there's some grass coming, some chickweed. I could tell. I think it's chickweed, anyhow. But not worried about that because I just want to get the clover established now through the frost seeding process, and then later on I'll hit all this stuff with IMOX.
Hmm.
So that'll take care of all that. So I went down, did the shot plot, came back up, did the feed plot behind camp. It has a lot of clover still left in it, but it had a lot of some grass coming on too. So I'll have to hit that again with an IMOX when it gets temperatures, soil temperatures get up above 50 permanently. Then I moved over to the destination plot where there's 2 acres of clover already standing. And of course, I didn't disappoint. And you'll see it in Tuesday's video that every year I watch the weather so closely and try to plant before the rain, and I get caught seeding in the rain every
Hmm.
year. Spring or fall, it doesn't matter. I get stuck in the rain.
Yep. Every
So
year.
I didn't disappoint. Everybody will be so excited to see it. So yeah, I went over, blew all the leaves off with the mower and the gasoline blower, and exposed the dirt. And I top seeded the whole 3/4 acre on the right hand side, and went heavy underneath that oak tree, try to get something established there. And the other half of the clover, it's pretty good shape, but I probably going to miss the frost seeding on that one.
Hmm.
So, I mean, I could go over after we record this and hit it real quick, but I just got out of the shower and I'm tired and I had a rough week. I'm just going to say heck with that.
Hmm.
But I'll just get it. I'll just go over one night after work, and I'll put a little seed on it too. It just, I don't even know if it needs it, but just to make sure, I'm going to hit it. And
Hmm.
then the other thing I need to do is I got to get the mower out and the brush hog, and I gotta take down and chop up all my incognito from last year, all my screening,
Yep.
get that all chopped up and get that all mulched down and get that ready. And I'll probably take the mower off at that point, put the cultivators on, and cultivate everywhere where that was. So let that sit a little bit dormant, let it green back up with a little weed, because there's always a little weed in your screening. I don't care who you are, you always get a little bit of weed in with that. So
Hmm.
I'll let that green up and I'll go over and spot spray it or something. But that's what I'm doing at my place. What do you got planned?
Well, this week, like we talked about, the weather was huge motivation for
Huge
me.
inspiration.
Um, but I mean, it was 75 here Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and today's pretty warm as well. But it did rain a little bit. But anyway, I got my pull behind mower, changed the oil, sharpened blades, changed all the fluids in my four wheeler, um, pressure washer, uh, started everything, made sure my spreader works. I actually, so I'm going to the farm tomorrow, leave first thing 4 o'clock in the morning, and I'm headed straight to Tractor Supply. I already called ahead. They got 20 bags of lime waiting for me. I'm going to pick that up, head to my farm, and I plan on broadcasting my fields with lime. But before I do that, I'm going to grab soil samples. Now, some people might say, well, why are you spreading lime if you haven't got soil samples? Well, I know what they were last year, right? And I didn't add lime, so I kind of know what to add. So I'm going to do that, and then get my soil samples, send them out. Then if I need to add more, I can adjust it later on. But the deer in my area are hammering my food plots because it's been warm, and I have a cell cam looking long ways down the plots, and you can see the plot, and then you can see the farmer's field. The farmer's field is dead. There's nothing in it, green, and my strips of food plot are green as could be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be hitting them with liquid courage micronutrients fertilizer, because if the plants are growing, they're actively taking in moisture, the temperatures are warm, they can suck in the for their feed. So I'm hitting them. So that's one goal. Fertilizer. I have to take all my cameras, cell cams. I still have cell cams there from last year. I haven't touched since November. Most of them are dead. And Reveal has a software update for all the cameras that you have to manually update. So while I'm there, I'm going to be manually updating all the firmware on the cell cams and moving my cell cams around to get ready for turkey season. I'm going to put them in areas where I previously know where I've seen, Tom strutting and stuff. So kind of get those set up in that, refresh all my batteries, charge my solar panels for my cameras, get them situated. I have two water holes that I'm going to clean up and clean out. Just it's like I just have a rake. I go in there, scoop the leaves out and stuff, get them cleaned up. Maybe work on some trails, clean them up, and then I'm heading back further back into the timber on this area that I cut 2 years ago, and I'm making it bigger. So I have my chainsaw. I'm gonna be doing a lot of cutting, cleaning some trails up on top of that ridge because they bed up there. So I'll be cleaning that up, doing some little bit of hinge cutting, but mainly just cutting the trees down, and then whatever else the day brings. But right now, March, we're still before spring green up, so it's a great time to finish up cuttings on your property. I just got back. I bought new blades. I got oil. I got gas. So I'm ready to go with that. I'll be making a ton of videos from there, putting them on YouTube. I just picked up a bunch of SD cards. So it's just turkey. I mean, it's turkey season. So um, coming up soon. I mean, it's only what, 6 weeks?
I think it's like the last week in April, first week
Right.
of May,
So
something
we
like
got
that.
about 6 weeks. I got a shipment in from Domain of recharge. So I'll be putting some mineral sites out, checking, getting inventory. And while I'm walking around, I'll be, shed hunting a little bit. I'm not specifically shed hunting, but if I happen to, if I see something, then I found something and I can say I'm a shed hunter.
Mm.
Um, so lots of stuff going on. But that's what I'm working on. Mainly, my main goals are the lime, soil samples, and getting some cuttings in.
Now,
That's
what's in your plot that's greening up?
I planted hall pass from that.
That's a lot of greens.
That's all. There's some clover, wheat and rye. That's what's the wheat and rye is what's greened up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's green. I mean, green, green, green. And the deer every afternoon, they're not there in the morning, but every afternoon there's 10 to 20 deer in those plots feeding, hammering that. And that's why I want to further feed it, is because those plants are actively growing. They're taking in moisture because they're actively growing, and it'll take in the micronutrients and everything from liquid courage. So I'm going to spray them. It's really early, but with the warm temps, they will suck this nutrients in, and one, it'll help boost it up, give them more nutrients, feed the deer. But also, when I go to turn that back in the spring, to plant my food plots, you'll have all that extra nutrients in those plants decomposing.
Mm.
So I'm excited for that.
You what are you gonna plant in spring?
Spring, I am going to plant.
Or are you just gonna let this ride and till it in for fall?
Nope, I'm gonna plant because I told you a couple weeks ago I was doing a test. I'm planting
Oh yeah, mother load.
mother load. So mother load is a mixture of soybeans, got some peas in there, And I really don't, in this area, I really don't have to plant a spring food plot because there's so much ag.
Right.
So my food plots aren't really going to do much. Now, I can say, well, I take care of my area better than the farmer. My soil, like everything's better um, than him. But
Well, when he's not spraying it with glyphosate.
yeah, he killed my plot the first year. I could have killed him. He killed my daggone incognito. He sprayed it.
Oh my.
Daggone farmer.
Oh
Um,
boy.
so I am planting that this year too. But mother load is going in, and I'm just doing a simple test. My mother load will be butted up against his commercial soybeans, and I want to just have cameras looking long ways and everything, and just see what's the deer hit. Which one do they focus on more?
His are going to be Roundup ready, and he's going to spray yours.
Right, probably. And I will spray his face with glyphosate. Um,
That's
but I'm
funny.
gonna have that test. It'll be cool to see,
Yeah,
which
actually,
which one do they focus on. Um, but even with that said, if they really don't hit it that much, I'm sure they will. But it'll be good to turn that back in
yeah,
for
sure.
my fall food plot. Always have something in there growing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yep.
So I will say that it's probably pointless to plant what I'm planting as far as a feed aspect because there's hundreds and hundreds of acres of
It's
soybeans.
experimental.
It is experimental, but
I like
again,
experiments.
yeah,
Everybody
a-
knows that.
again, it's also improving the soil by have something growing. So I kill it's experimental purpose, but also I'll be improving the soil
Well, you always want something green. You plant
for sure.
365. These
Right.
people, like
hmm
that farmer, well, he didn't do himself any justice by letting it go to dirt.
No, and I plan on doing a video there tomorrow because I think I told you the first year about that. I was there on a really windy day.
Hmm.
Actually, no. Sorry, it would have been the following year. So 1 year in, the farmer's field, it was really windy and all his soil was blowing.
Just
It was
blowing.
blowing around because he has nothing growing. It's
Yeah.
just it's dead. There's nothing there
It's
holding that soil
dry
together.
desert.
It's dry, cracky soil. You shift over to my food plot. No, I had grains in there. They were growing. The soil was held together. It was still holding moisture. His was dry as a bone. So it's a huge difference when you're not planting
Hmm.
cover crops
Yeah.
after after the they harvest the corn and the soybeans and all that. Farmers should be planting cover crops in there um, to help improve, but
It,
they don't. A lot of them don't do it, and
no,
you
they
know,
do not. There must be. I don't know. They must count it as too much cost because
yeah.
there's no return on it really, except for turning it back in.
Well, they can cut it the following
You know.
year for use it for hay and stuff.
Yeah, but not too many people do that.
Right.
You know. But yeah, I mean, I drove to that wild game dinner last weekend or 2 weekends ago from my place all the way to Altoona. It was like almost iron 45-minute drive or something. And now I'm all through the hills of ag
hmm
going down through there. I saw
And with green.
one person with green field, and
hmm
it was green as could be.
Yep.
And everybody else had these brown, dried up, rotten
Yep.
looking.
He's doing it right.
Yeah, I mean, it looked great.
Yep.
And all these other places, nothing.
No. Now,
It
if I
just
drive 5-10 minutes from my house, you drive past all the farmers' fields, green as could be. I bet you 90% of the farmers around my area use cover crops.
it's
But
good.
if I go over to PA, like where the farm is,
Yep.
everything's dead. It's just there's no cover crops. There's no
Yeah,
nothing.
I don't get it. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't know why
Um.
they wouldn't want something in there.
Right.
Even if you just, like you said, even if you just throw down a grain of some sort,
hmm
even one type,
Yeah. Just
just
throw some rye
whatever's
down or wheat.
cheapest. Yeah, whatever's cheapest that year.
hmm
Because wheat and rye goes back and forth. So, you can pick that stuff up cheap. 10
100%.
bucks, $10 for the 50 or something.
Yeah. It would definitely help for sure.
Yeah.
But
Turn
that's
that.
some things that people can work on. Especially those. I've been getting a lot of questions on Messenger and stuff. People wanting to plant or gearing up for food plots, and they want to know what they can plant. They're in the woods. They're blowing leaves out. You've seen all the pictures on my new favorite
Yeah,
Facebook group.
yeah, your drama group.
Yep, Domain Nation. That's my favorite Facebook group. Hey, any of the podcast listeners listening, even Chris's channel, watching the video, go to Facebook and go and join the group, Domain Nation. It's Domains Food Plots group.
Yep.
But that group, from what I've only been in it like 2 weeks now. I didn't even
Mhm.
know it existed until 2 weeks ago.
You blamed it on me.
I did. You didn't tell me, but
I was
every
posting in it. What's the matter with
yeah,
you?
I didn't know. I didn't see it. But everybody in that group seems cool.
For the most
They
part, yeah.
they seem legit. Like when somebody posts a question or posts pictures, people aren't giving it the laughy faces. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this person asked a dumb question. Like everybody in there seems cool. If you go to these other groups, somebody asks a question and they get bashed.
Oh
All
yeah.
these people come in there and bash them.
Yeah.
But it's the first group that I have found that seems everybody seems cool.
But someone will ruin that.
I'm sure.
Someone will hear that and go over there and like the chant,
Yeah,
like it, and then they'll start doing all their shenanigans.
I hope not because I'll
I hope not either, because I mean that other one that we're not going to mention, when it first started, it was pretty cool too, but then it just went downhill.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. Right now it's cool though. I like it.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
good.
like posting in that group. Everybody seems cool, and I've met a few people from there that send me messages and stuff, and I talked to them a little bit. But it's a cool group. So
Yeah.
so if your guys are planting domain seed and stuff, there's a lot of information in there that people post.
Yeah,
Maybe
specifically to the seed that you want to know about.
yeah, maybe something
Now, there
to
was
look
a guy
into.
just put something up here a little while ago. He wanted to know what he could plant with his comeback kid.
Hmm.
I was going to comment, but I refrained because I was on my way to the store and I was driving.
Hmm.
But I was just going to say, hey, that's a good standalone plot right there. You don't even need to
Hmm.
mix anything with it. But
Right. Yeah.
you know, they recommend like a hot chick or a no BS going in with that. But
Hmm.
that's also specific to
Yeah.
later on in the year too.
I
You
just
know,
had a guy comment on one of my. Remember the YouTube video we did at the old farm where we just started using domain? We had all the seed and we were explaining each one.
I think so. Yeah,
We were both wearing the wireless mics and all that.
yeah, I think so.
Um, a guy commented on that video and asked. Um, he bought 4 jugs of something and he didn't know when to plant it,
Mm.
so he wanted a number to call domain. So I
Oh,
gave him the cell phone number or whatever number it was, and he called, and then he replied back and said, "I just talked to him. Appreciate it." So
yeah.
there's definitely people who are hyped up about domain, so that's pretty cool.
Well,
Met a lot of people through there.
that's one thing too. If you need to get a hold of someone from Domain and you dial that number, you get one of those guys that you see on the videos.
Hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
their face is specific to the company. You
Hmm.
know, and you'll call somebody and Spencer will pick up or some or the new
Well, you're,
kid Sam. One of
yeah.
them will pick up.
Well, you're not going to get a person in there that just sells stuff that don't know what they're doing. You're going to talk to somebody that actually
Yeah,
plants.
and these kids actually plant food plots too.
Yeah. Right.
That's
So
why they're with the company.
right. It's pretty cool.
That's why they recruited them. So
Hmm.
yeah, no, yeah, I'm also ready for incognito, but waiting for the soil temperatures to rise.
Hmm.
So that'll be later on, probably into May,
Yeah, I'm not going to plant till
late April,
early.
early May, possibly.
I won't be planting anything until about the first week of June. That's when I plan on planting.
Yeah, I'm probably
Wait
gonna
till
get.
I'm going to wait till the weeds establish because those farmers' fields where my plots are is infested with ragweed.
Yeah.
So I want that stuff to come up so I can burn it out. And then I actually have to physically spray simazine where I plan on planting my incognito
Hmm.
because the ragweed is so bad it'll overtake
Choke it.
it. So this year I'm going to use simazine where I plan on planting my strips of incognito. So
Gotcha.
just I don't want to do that, but it's
Yeah.
something that I have to do.
You know, a big question I've been getting a lot lately.
Hmm.
I've got it like 3 times this week already. People want to know if they can spray IMOX on all their plots.
Mm.
And I'm like, well, it's mainly for clover and stuff, but like they want to know if they could use it instead of Glide to kill stuff off from last year. And I'm like,
No.
I mean, you can, but why?
Nah. Yeah.
Don't waste it. Save it for your clover plots and just go get some Glide and some 2,4-D or something and burn it down.
Yeah. You need to get a broad spectrum herbicide, such as just glyphosate. Did you know Tractor Supply sells gallon jugs of glyphosate now?
Yes,
Yeah.
ours has for about 2 years.
It's $50 now.
Yeah, when that price skyrocketed, they went smaller because nobody was buying it.
Right.
They were losing their butts, you know?
Hmm. Well, the 2.5 gallon jug is like is 100, and then the gallon jug is 50. So if you spend the $100, you get an extra half gallon.
Right.
I don't use it that much, so I just need a gallon of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to get a gallon.
Yeah, I really don't need it at all this year
Right.
because I've got everything transitioned to clover except for the plot that I'm going to put in front of my tree stand for fall. That's going
Hmm.
to be some wingman
So
going in there.
you're leaving that dormant until
Yeah,
the
I'm going to
fall.
leave that. I'm going to leave that dormant, and I might just spread some oats on it. Once the temperature heats up a little bit, might spread some oats on it. If it catches, okay. If it don't, okay. Whatever. I'm just going to leave it go because it's green. Some leftover stuff from last year,
Hmm.
and I will kill it deader than dead, and then let it sit for a couple weeks. And if anything pops green, I will spray it again, and then I will seed it. And it's all small seeds. I don't even have to really work the dirt.
You're
You know,
planting wingman, right?
yeah, wingman.
Yeah, I'm planting
So
that too. And
that's all going to be small, tiny brassica seeds. So
I'm planting
I'm just
wingman.
gonna I'm just gonna hit it
Yep.
before a good rain, and I
Hmm.
should be good.
I'm planting wingman and then mixing a jug of hot chick
Ah, okay,
this year for the fall. That'll be my fall plan.
yeah.
So, all right, guys. Well, that's podcast 64.
Hmm.
So it's just some things you guys can be working on, and that's what we're working on right now. I'm busy all weekend, working on the farm, and I'll be bringing you guys a bunch of videos.
Yeah, we're always trying to tell people what they could do, but
Hmm.
we'll share what we do.
That's it.
Okay, 64 guys. See you.